Are we living in a simulation? Late at night, when the world quiets down and the stars begin to whisper their silent songs, some of the deepest questions come to life. In those still moments, when we're alone with our thoughts, a peculiar idea sometimes drifts into the mind. What if everything we see, feel, and experience is part of a simulation? It sounds like science fiction at first, an idea straight out of a movie. But over the past few decades, this question has become a genuine topic of philosophical and scientific inquiry. Prominent thinkers like Nick Bostrom and even tech figures like Elon Musk have suggested that it's possible, maybe even likely, that our reality is not the base reality, but a highly advanced digital creation, simulation. So, what does it really mean to live in a simulation? And more importantly, should it change the way we live our lives? Let's start by imagining the possibility. Suppose that a civilization, far more advanced than ours, developed the ability to create extremely detailed and lifelike simulations, so lifelike, in fact, that the simulated beings inside have thoughts, emotions, and self-awareness. If such a technology exists, and it is being used, then the number of simulated realities could easily outnumber the one original reality. Statistically, that means we might be more likely to be living in one of the simulations than in the one base universe. But before fear or wonder overtakes us, let's breathe. Let's slow down. Let's sit with the idea not as a threat, but as a mirror, a reflection that helps us better understand what it means to be human. If we are living in a simulation, does that make our experiences any less real? The warmth of the sun on your face. The sound of a loved one's laughter. The beauty of a melody that moves your soul. These are not diminished by their possible digital nature. Real is not always about physical matter, it's about the meaning we give to things, the depth of our emotions, the connections we create, the lives we touch. Even if our world is built from code, that doesn't mean it's void of truth. It could mean that truth is found not in atoms and molecules, but in awareness, intention, and love. Perhaps, in some strange way, the simulation theory can be a gentle teacher. It asks us, what would you do if life is not what it seems? Would you still be kind? Would you still dream? Would you still love with all your heart, knowing it might all be pixels and programs? Maybe the answer is yes. Or maybe the answer becomes even more powerful, especially if it's all a simulation. Because then, kindness is not based on reward. Love is not driven by consequence. We choose beauty, compassion, and courage not because we have to, but because we can. Because in a simulated world, as in any world, our choices define us more than our surroundings. In a way, this idea can be freeing. If everything around us is part of an elaborate design, then each moment is a gift, a pixelated miracle wrapped in light and motion. And maybe we don't need to fear the answer to whether we live in a simulation. Maybe the mystery itself is what makes life so meaningful. What matters is how we choose to engage with life. Whether simulated or not, this world gives us sunsets to admire, stories to tell, and people to love. If it's all a grand illusion, it is still an illusion worth living fully. And then, there is the other side of this question, the spiritual side. Many ancient teachings speak of this world as a kind of dream, a veil, a temporary realm through which we journey to awaken. Long before computers existed, poets and mystics spoke of the illusion of reality. So perhaps the idea of simulation is not new, it's just wearing new clothes. Maybe what matters most is not whether life is simulated, but whether we are awake within it. Are we present? Are we conscious of our choices? Are we living with intention? And if one day, we discover the truth, whatever that truth may be, will we look back and say we lived with wonder, with gratitude, and with open hearts? We may never know the answer to the simulation question. It may remain a mystery, tucked behind the veil of existence. But perhaps we don't need the answer. Perhaps the question itself is the invitation to live more deeply, to feel more freely, to love more bravely. So tonight, when the stars begin to hum their eternal tune and the world turns quiet again, let the question float gently in your mind, what if this is all a simulation? And then smile, not because you know the answer, but because you've been given the rare and precious gift of wondering.